Okay, I'm not going to put you on the spot and ask you what is your favorite song on the album
Oh,
because
good, because I don't know if I'd give an answer. I think I gave an answer once to that, and as soon as I did, I go, "That's not true. I don't have one."
yes,
Now, because
it's
who's your favorite child?
well, Charles. I'm a good procrastinator myself, so I can see where you might uh, spend a lot of time preparing something, but I have to admit I had to read the press release about 3 or 4 times to make sure I got it right. This is your debut album?
That's correct. It's my debut album. The keyword there being album. I know, I've put out a ton of singles over these
Yeah.
years, and had a ball doing that. I always felt like I was trying to catch up with everybody else. Like I maybe should have come here a lot sooner than I got to, but Nashville brought me here when it did. So playing that catch up and just getting to my 10,000 hours of music, uh, working in the industry, whether it was writing or producing or making the music. But I never knew exactly what the album was. And Joe, I think that's because I never exactly knew who I was as an artist. So I never felt that sort of burden to know that when I put out a single. A single's a song, and you think it's great and you want people to hear it. I think an album, there's more of a coherence there and it's more of a statement about who you are. So musically, I figured I better find that out before I put that out.
How do you pick the songs for an album? And this is exactly what you're referring to, the idea that, okay, this might be a good song, but it is going to put the other songs out of balance here.
Absolutely. One of the things that helped with that so much is having an outside ear that you trusted so much, and that was my producer, Marshall Altman. Um, I could see early on that he and I had a real simpatico. It wasn't like he was coming from a totally different place. So we were side by side there, but I would go, well, maybe this one, and he would go, definitely that one. Or then I go, I'm not sure about this one. He'd go, I think that belongs on it. And he goes, maybe not this one. And so, and at any given point, you're right. You're not saying it's not a great song. You're just saying it doesn't fit. It reminds me very much of scenes in a movie. Some of the best scenes that were ever shot, we've never seen them. Because in your favorite movies, there's deleted scenes that at the end of the day, they just went and they watched the whole movie together and they went, that's an incredible scene, but it doesn't advance the story. It doesn't, so you take it out. And in your mind, you go, well, that can go somewhere else. That might find another home another day. But for now, this is the album.
Well, it's like, David Lean, the great director, once said, first thing I do when I, edit the film is I have to kill all my darlings.
Oh, absolutely. It's exactly that. And in a less painful way, I think I've always heard sculptors say that you just cut away everything that is not the sculpture, that is not David. So in a way, you feel like you're doing that. You're like, this is a wonderful piece of marble, but it's not what I'm making here right now.
So I have to ask, how did your wife react the first time you played One Good Move for her?
Well, I must say this is not the first song I've written for my wife, so she
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
like, "What for me?"
yeah.
She knows she's my inspiration. She's my candlelight, which was another one that I wrote on this album for her. But it's funny, that one sort of has a beat to it, so she can't help it if she likes something she starts moving a certain way, and she even does this dance where the fingers come out and she starts doing that a little bit. So once I saw that start happening, I knew I had a banger. I knew I got one that was first of all, the story behind One Good Move is really cool because I went to write with some at a writer's retreat. My friend Twinny's a fantastic female artist in this town, young female artist, and she had a group of people come out on a day and write together. And she was kind enough to invite me. And I'd written a song in the morning, and that afternoon we were just sitting outside, and I was talking about how much respect I had for all these young writers and artists because just how hard they work and how dedicated they are. And I also said at their age, I was not that focused. I didn't have their wisdom. I didn't have their drive. I said I was just a bad decision machine. You put in a quarter, I'll give you a bad decision. And then I went, you know what? Except for one thing, my wife. Somehow that fool that I was able to hang on to the one thing that he would need for the rest of his life. I go, that was my one good move. And I didn't even think about it. And then after lunch, the three young women I was writing with go, well, we're writing that one good move. And I was like, oh yeah, that is a good title. So I'm grateful to the three of them for making that song happen at all, and then for writing it with me.
Well, now you recently completed a Nashville reunion tour. Excuse me, an international Nashville
I was
reunion.
going to correct you. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Pardon me, pardon me. Got to give you your props. Uh, while you were together with your former collaborators, did the subject of perhaps a Nashville movie come up?
It did not come up. I can tell you, it did not come up. I think we're of a like mind that when you look at something and they always say end well. I think we ended it well, and it's a coherent thing unto itself. I've always said that I'm not against it. It would be almost impossible to do, first of all, because of our dear Raina, who we are missing and would not be able to have in that thing. But on top of that, the way we ended and closed everything up, it felt kind of perfect to all of us that were on the inside and part of it. And I would never want to borrow on what that was, like make a withdrawal on all the goodwill we had for that. There'd be a bunch of people that would absolutely watch it for sure. If there's somehow I felt like it was adding to the legend, I'd be open to it, but that would be very, very tricky to do, I think. And some things you just got to go, there's this beautiful thing, and we did. And by the way, the thing I love about our show is that, yeah, you can go back and watch episodes, you can binge the whole thing. But what we have that so many don't is you don't even have to invest that hard. You can drive to work and just turn on some of that music and
Mhm.
go back to that place and time. I do it all the time. That music was unassailable. It was a high bar. That we met and continue to be. That's because of all the great songwriters in this town and the talent that I was surrounded with my cast. So it was important for me to try to match the caliber of songs on Nashville for my own album. Try to bring something as powerful as I was able to be a part of.
You recently came to an end, let's put it that way, on your new TV, well, relatively new TV
Yeah,
series.
relatively new. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you had people come up to you in public and say, you shouldn't have died?
The reaction that I've been getting is one that I really, really love, and one we were sort of aiming for, which was I can't say I ever liked Ward. In fact, I hated Ward. You drove me crazy. But then I found myself crying. So that's unusual and that's difficult, tricky thing to pull off. But I was trying to infuse Ward for all the bad decisions he made, all the wrong turns he made. Underneath it all, you saw this love for his family, and especially Sarah. And he always said that he would do anything for her. And so in the end, maybe he proved it. It's funny because I often think that was Ward's one good move. I was thinking that not long ago. He literally didn't do anything right except he made that one good move. And once again, end well. So Ward ended well. So we're finding recurring themes here, right?
Yeah, and you put it into your music, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
Now I have to say, I love the song "Somewhere in the Sunshine," but when I watched the music video, I thought, did it start flooding while he was shooting this video?
It's not a flood. That was just a small little stream. And the thing is, it's funny about it is I literally run my dogs in that stream all the time, and it's a shallow little stream. So for me, I go in there with my boots all the time because I'm not going to be tiptoeing and stepping on a sharp rock or a piece of glass. It's just a little fresh water. They dry out. So when I finally got there, I could have sat on the shore, but there was something more filmic, more also more. The whole concept is the afterlife and the and being somewhere in the sunshine where it's peaceful and nothing bothers you. So that didn't bother me at all. I was like, this makes sense to me. It's not like it was up to my knees and I was being swept downstream. It was just a little bit of water. Don't fear it, Joe. Try it someday.
I can't swim. I don't know. I'd be a little bit
Well, you don't
reluctant.
have to swim when it's like that.
Well, there is that. There is. Okay, I'm not going to put you on the spot and ask you what is your favorite song. on the album
Oh,
because
good, because I don't know if I'd give an answer. I think I gave an answer once to that, and as soon as I did, I go, "That's not true. I don't have one." Now, because
it's
who's your favorite child?
yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly.
You know, when my kids had a book. We bought them a book when they were little because we have three kids, and it was a great book. I think Jamie Lee Curtis had something to do with writing, and it was called "I Love You, the Purplest," and what it is I love it was she was talking to each of the kids. I love you the reddest. You red like fire, or sunshine coming in, or red like a tulip, or and then to the other kid, I love you the bluest, blue like cool water, blue like. And so that really always got me, not just for them, so that they could all feel their specialness and their individuality in the way we love them. But it makes sense. I think of it now. I love this song, the dreamiest, the pain healingest. I love this song, the rockingest. I love this song. So yeah, that's to answer the question you didn't ask. I mean, so
But I was going to ask, or I am going to ask, what was the most difficult song for you to record?
I have to be honest, it didn't happen. And I think I put that down to the musicians. Some of them are harder than others for me to sing, to hit those notes, but the musicians brought everything alive and in a way that there were one or two. I wasn't sure how When Love Ain't Love was gonna go before I got in there with them. I didn't know what was gonna separate, or I didn't know if it would make it. And I can't even tell you why, because I love the lyrics, I love the words. It just needed something. And then I walked in there, and without even telling them it needed something, they added this really cool Tim Lauer on keys, and just the guitars got very atmospheric, and it started and man, I started riding along on it too. And that was the thing I'm the most thrilled about, is how these musicians bought into this album. It felt like their album. Like, I think a half hour in, we started one song, and then we started talking, we started playing, and I felt like this doesn't have to happen. They can come in here and play beautifully without ownership, without connection. That's the nature of a great session musician. But it felt like all of those things felt like a group, felt like ownership, and especially on that song. And the other ones, like on Summer in the Sunshine, when they started playing like that, it's like these great musicians hear your song, hear things in your song that you didn't even hear. I loved that song already, and they started bringing it alive, and now I just get to sit in that stream in my boots with them and enjoy.
Well, final question. Now, you've been involved with music since the beginning of your career, and the Buddy Holly show, and things like that. What gives you think, the greatest sense of satisfaction? Recording a great song or doing a great scene?
It's a very close one, because the thing you have in there is great, and people would always ask, even with the acting, do you prefer comedy or do you prefer drama? Do you prefer? And the answer is always, I prefer the thing that connects the most, that connects the deepest. If doing a scene like that connects people and makes people cry at a distance, months away in their own living room, there's something really wonderful about that. But I will say that for me, the musical connection is more direct. It's less, there's less people involved, so it's less collaborative. I love the collaboration, but if it's a song that I thought of the title and I sat in that room and wrote it with somebody, and then we came together and we put it out, it's the clearest version of me. That's the spring water that comes the most from me. I'm not playing a character. This is the least I'm a character, is on this album. As an actor, or even as a singer, I was singing like Buddy Holly. Even when I was in my band in college, it was still kind of a cover band, so I was sort of singing like those folks. It's kind of a joy, and feels very, very nice to go, okay, this is as close to me as I can get right now. This is me in this moment. So if this connects, then I connect with you. And that's what you're hoping for with your music. So I would have to say the music.
Well, thank you very much, Charles. I wish you great luck with this album. It's a keeper. And once again, I also have to thank you for introducing me to Nashville hot chicken.
You're so welcome.
You take care, and you have a very happy holiday.
Thank you. My best to you, my friend. Good to see you again.